I'm kind of surprised you're not cradling the Mahomes jersey right now after all the
No.
disrespect that he is getting from his former wide receivers. Kyle, can you believe this comment that came out today from Sammy Watkins, who was on the championship squad for the Kansas City Chiefs? Patrick Mahomes is incredibly good, but A-Rod is on a whole other level. Sammy Watkins co-signed by Tyreek Hill, who said that Tua was the most accurate quarterback that he has played with in his career. That's two wide receivers in the same offseason that kind of had a little shade. I don't know if it was direct shade, but it certainly was shade at the great Patrick Mahomes. Does this kind of catch you off guard that this is a weird trend that seems to be developing this offseason?
I don't think so, because I can always write it down as like, of course these players are, talking about the quarterback that they really like. Now, I think that the Sammy Watkins story this week has been a byproduct of the Tyreek Hill storyline this offseason, where Tyreek Hill has said repeatedly, like, oh, yeah, Tua's way more accurate than Patrick Mahomes, or I'm way more happy to have Tua than Patrick Mahomes. And Tuanon has kind of like ran with this storyline and dominated the headlines a bit.
Shout out to
And
you, Tuanon. We know you
yeah,
support the videos.
Tuanon really likes our
Yeah,
videos.
for some reason, I don't know what it is. I'm not questioning it. Tuanon, shout out to you. Finns fans for
Yeah,
life, right?
I agree with that. I also will point out, just as a fun side note, there's a 2020 Bleacher Report story that was written by Tyler Dunn on Sammy Watkins, and it is still to this day like the most interesting thing I've ever heard. Like, Sammy Watkins and has studied astrology, and basically like he was getting drunk every night in Buffalo when he was there, and when he left he like locked himself in his house for 5 months and just like studied the universe.
Wait.
Like,
Are you
Sammy
talking
Watkins
about
is really
are you
interesting.
talking about the Lizard King Sammy Watkins?
Yes, I'm talking about that Sammy Watkins, the chaotic, crazy Sammy Watkins, who, uh, again, I could talk for 10 minutes about that, but that's just the synopsis of it. So Sammy Watkins, super interesting. Now for Patrick Mahomes,
I
all of this
feel
is just off-season talk,
yeah.
and it's a byproduct of Tyreek Hill.
I feel as though it makes sense actually thinking about Sammy Watkins' beliefs and realizing he's in the same locker room as Aaron Rodgers, who has been touting his ayahuasca trip this offseason. It sounds like they can actually bond. When he talks about being on a whole other level, he might legitimately mean that. He means that Aaron Rodgers is on a whole other level, freed his mind, put himself in another dimension, another plane of existence. That's what Sammy Watkins is probably referring to, right? Not that Aaron Rodgers is more talented than Patrick Mahomes, because that couldn't be right from the two-time reigning MVP. Now, that's the interesting question that I think a lot of people are asking when they look at this story. Is it true? Is Aaron Rodgers that much better or that significantly better than Patrick Mahomes? What say you, Kyle?
It's interesting because I think that the Aaron Rodgers to Patrick Mahomes point is an interesting conversation. I know that we as sports media people can't be trusted with having a quarterback debate, because it instinctively becomes who's better, Rodgers or Mahomes, when the answer is they are both the two greatest quarterbacks to ever pick up a football statistically, and one might be better than the other, but
So
like
you're
we
copping
can't
out
be
on
trusted.
me.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm not going to do the whole sports media conversation around this Patrick Mahomes Aaron Rodgers situation, but the part that I find more interesting is the Mahomes and Tua thing, because obviously there's no comparison between the two. We know what Tua Tagovailoa is not. We don't know what he is, but we know what he's not. Even with the terrible offensive line and the Dolphins having that weird stretch run last year, and him being hurt, we would have seen something at this point that says he's Justin Herbert, or he's he's Patrick Mahomes, or he's going to be one of the. It's just interesting that Tyreek Hill has been so vocal about it, and that people have ran so much about it. So much so that I think there's been more media coverage around Tyreek Hill's praise of Tua and Mike McDaniel's praise of Tua than there's been about like the Dolphins almost having Tom Brady this offseason. And it's kind of weird that conversation has sparked. And obviously the flip side of that is massive praise for Tua must mean disrespect for Patrick Mahomes, because it can never just be one thing or the other. It has to be both. It has to be disrespect for Patrick Mahomes as well.
I can agree that you can praise your girlfriend without tearing down your ex, But it is interesting to think about the point of comparing the two quarterbacks. I'll go back to the Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes comparison, just to kind of get an idea of maybe what Sammy Watkins is talking about. Like, why does he make it so to define that line? Okay, so how do we compare these two? So let's look at Aaron Rodgers' last two MVP years. So Aaron Rodgers in those seasons, respectively, 4,115 yards last season in 2021, 37 touchdowns, 4 picks, 111.9 passer rating. In 2020, 70% completion percentage, 1 yard shy of 4,300 yards, 48 touchdowns, 5 picks, 121.5 rating. Patrick Mahomes in those 2 years, and there was some injuries mixed in. But in 2021, he threw for more passing yards, 4,839, had a worse completion percentage. In terms of touchdowns, deadlocked together. Interceptions, though, were a big problem for Mahomes relative to Rodgers. And some will say that Rodgers plays it too conservative with the ball sometimes, and that costs his team. Whereas Patrick Mahomes is known clearly as more of a gunslinger. 13 picks in total, 98.5 rating. So the rating is a big dividing line in 2021. In terms of 2020, comparing their two statistics, 4,700 yards. So not that far away from the 2021 season totals in 2020, 66.3 completion percentage, 38 touchdowns, which was 10 less than Rodgers. Again, you have to mix in some injuries here. 6 interceptions. So he had less interceptions, less turnovers in 2020, and 108 rating. So the last 2 years, Rodgers has really separated in the categories of turnovers, less turnovers, more efficient with the football in terms of adding in the completion percentages, touchdowns, which sometimes year to year can be a little bit of a fluky stat. Aaron Rodgers, at least in 2020, was far and away above Patrick Mahomes. Again, you have to factor in he missed time. I would say Patrick Mahomes is more of an ad-libber. He's one of the most talented when it comes to ad-libbing in the game. Aaron Rodgers has a little bit of ad-lib qualities to him as well, but not nearly to the same effect because he's not quite as mobile. Early career Aaron Rodgers was, but current iteration of Aaron Rodgers not as mobile. I feel like Aaron Rodgers fits better within his scheme right now. Ever since he learned the LaFleur, Shanahan, McVay type offense, he's flourished in it. Patrick Mahomes sometimes at points, he loves the Andy Reid offense, but he sometimes can overcome it with his natural arm talent.
Certainly different quarterbacks. And I will add the other stat to all those stats you listed, which is the simpler one. And usually I'm the one who loves going to all the fun stats and QBR and yards and things like that. But I will just do the easy one of 2021 and 2020, both seasons. Rodgers finished first in MVP. Patrick Mahomes finished third in MVP both of those seasons. Now, in fairness, there was a different second place both seasons. 2020, it was Josh Allen.
Yeah.
2021, it was Tom Brady. But, you know, same point. Like they are the two there.
Their
games are certainly different between the two.
I'll throw this in there. I thought Aaron Rodgers should have won last year's MVP. Throwing the MVP stats.
Neither should Tom Brady.
I thought it was Tom Brady. I'm sorry. I thought it was Tom Brady last year.
You're insane.
He led the league in passing touchdowns, passing yards.
It's just okay. I can't. Anyways, the Patrick Mahomes point is really interesting because, like you said, they play very different games. And as I'm not going to say vanilla. Let's say that the Matt LaFleur offense is chocolate. It's not as kooky and creative as it could tailor well to what Aaron Rodgers does as a quarterback, which is Aaron Rodgers is short, quick passes. Aaron Rodgers is 2.5 seconds or less, get out the football. Aaron Rodgers is use the running backs as receivers type of guy. And the Chiefs do some of that stuff, but obviously the Chiefs offense is built on Patrick Mahomes' ability to be a mobile quarterback and make plays last 5, 6, 7 seconds long in order to give Tyreek Hill openings and give Travis Kelce openings and give Mecole Hardman and Sammy Watkins 3 games a year. Give those guys openings.
I'll put it to you this way. If you were a defensive coordinator, who would you least like to see, Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes?
I would probably least like to see Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is just a lot harder to game plan against. Like his game is built on extreme accuracy And Aaron Rodgers' game is built on precision passing where your defensive linemen because you just can't physically get to the quarterback fast enough to make an effort to change a play like that.
And that's maybe what Sammy Watkins is referencing.
Perhaps that's what Sammy Watkins is referencing. Now, I think that the better quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. To game plan against one or the other is more difficult because Patrick Mahomes, we saw last season, you can say we're going to deny the deep ball. You're going to have to throw to the middle, and Patrick Mahomes will, as all Patrick Mahomes has to do is adjust his play, and it changes the game a little bit. Like if he takes what's being given to him, the Chiefs offense is still totally unstoppable. It's just, it denies the, Patrick Mahomes rolls to his left, rolls to his right. And now the plays lasted 6-7 seconds long, and no one can possibly cover Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill for 6 or 7 seconds.
And this is no fault to Mahomes because any quarterback would kill for this situation. But I think a lot of what this debate boils down to in terms of how these quarterbacks will rank historically or how they rank right now historically is at least Aaron Rodgers. We've seen so many different iterations throughout the years and him succeed with so many different talented pieces. Whereas we still need to figure out what Mahomes is going to be post Tyreek Hill, post Travis Kelce, post Andy Reid, whenever the time comes. Aaron Rodgers has flourished in multiple systems with Mike McCarthy and now with LaFleur. He's had multiple number one wide receivers over the course of his career, whether that be a Donald Driver, a Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, or Devontae Adams, and who knows who's going to be the guy this year. So in terms of career resume, because we have seen Aaron Rodgers be able to flourish throughout the years with different settings, different types of adversity.
Yes.
We still have to see kind of Patrick Mahomes face adversity in his career. And maybe that's coming this year. Maybe we thought kind of last year that he was dealing with adversity when they had that odd stretch where it just didn't seem like anything was really working.
Yeah. Other people thought, I'm not going to listen. I deserve protection because I said they were going to be fine. But
you have a game Monday Night Football against the New York Giants and you beat them by maybe a touchdown or whatever it ended up being. That's when people start hitting that red alarm button. And it's like, you better beat Joe Judge.
You know what? The Kansas City Chiefs went 8-1 after that happened. After that Monday night game, they went 8-1 and outscored opponents by 30 points.
That's because Andy Reid, Big Red, pushed that Big Red button after that game and said, guys, we got to get our shit together. We can't literally be beating the Giants by a score. This is where we have to hit that red alarm. And it worked all the way up until the playoffs where you have a 21-point lead against the lowly Cincinnati Bengals. Probably didn't need to be there. And then chaos happens. And maybe that's another thing too, all honesty. And that's maybe something that Patrick Mahomes does need to clean up somewhat. I hate to say it so harshly, but dumbness, like the scramble, rollback, sack that happened against the Bengals, that was horrific. And I think Patrick Mahomes will agree that that was horrific. Aaron Rodgers doesn't do that. Aaron Rodgers, he has the opposite problem. Sometimes he goes too conservative with the ball. They kind of move in different directions, but I guess if you're asking for what gets you respect with the guys, sometimes not making the ESPN top 10 lowlights is something that gets a little bit more amongst the locker room because people won't kill you usually for being too conservative.
And perhaps that's the same point that Sammy Watkins was talking about, which to close out this segment, I would like to read a couple of my favorite quotes from the Sammy Watkins story because it's incredible. Quote, dreams are not merely dreams. No, Watkins believes we all move through an astral realm in which you can manifest outcomes into the physical world, like the past AFC Championship game. Remember, that was in 2020. He hears voices that tell him when danger's near. He knows for certain that words cast spells. And death, Watkins isn't afraid of death. Not when you know you've probably died so many times, he says, and you're still here. You just keep coming back. He's also said that, he's researched religious stories of the beginning of mankind and took it a bit too far. There was Adam. Okay. Eve, got it. But the serpent? Nah, the serpent was not just a snake. All things we think are good aren't good. All of the things we think are bad aren't bad. God could be Satan. Jesus could be Lucifer. Watkins started to feel a dragon-like, snake-like presence around him. And then when he took it for a drive, he saw something that petrified him all the way to this day.
Sammy
That
Watkins.
is some of the, again, read this story. It's awesome. I read it 2 years ago and it has still stuck with me ever since. Sammy Watkins is such an interesting dude.
The Lizard King, Sammy Watkins, lives on. Thank you for the content today, bro. Anyway, guys, go ahead and drop below in the comments. Yes, Kyle wants to opt out of this debate, but I'm curious your thoughts. Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, today, you have to take one. Who is the quarterback you're rolling with? Leave a like on this video, helps the channel, helps me, helps Kyle. Subscribe to the channel, helps us even more. From Juju Talk Sports, Kyle Ledbetter, stay safe, happy, and healthy. We will see you next time.